Hi, I have a question. Am I allowed to give you this microphone? Is that cool? Or no?
I mean, yeah, we're not really coming over, so we'll just keep you there.
Sure, no problem. Okay. So, hi, Lydia.
You're welcome to film.
Awesome. Yeah, no.
Hi.
Yeah, no, I've seen, I'm Ethan.
Ethan.
Yeah, no,
Did you make a graphic out of me?
I'm not the one who made it, but the graphic definitely was
You
made.
picked a really nice picture of me, didn't you?
Well, it wasn't me who picked
It's okay.
it, thank you very
It's
much.
okay.
I actually picked a nicer photo of you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
Okay.
But no, I'll go ahead and get past the pleasantries. I think from an objective standpoint, the pro-life movement, actually now I think it is true that from an objective standpoint, your position causes more suffering. And this is something that, in good faith, I can't allow to stand. So here I am to challenge you, just like how I did with Myron Gaines, just how I did with Charlie Kirk.
Okay.
Now, I think before we get started, we should probably go over our definitions. And I don't know like how versed in philosophy you are. Like,
let's dumb it down especially for everyone here.
yeah, no, I agree. No, we can do that. We can do it. I agree. But like in terms of like the philosophical concept of like suffering, right? Like how familiar are you with that and like what causes suffering?
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with suffering, yes.
But like what causes suffering?
Yes, I'm familiar.
I'm asking you. Like
Yeah,
I know
you're
what
asking me what causes suffering. Yeah,
Yes.
a variety of different things cause suffering. Different life circumstances. I mean, we all suffer. You suffer, I suffer. I don't think your value is based on how much suffering you go through, though.
Okay, so but the conclusion is going to be that suffering is caused by a frustration of preferences, right? So like, the person behind me has a preference to not be punched in the face. They may not even be thinking about it, but if I were to do that, that would cause suffering. Would you
Yes.
agree with that statement?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. And now for the next definition, when we talk about a person, how do you define what a person is?
Yeah, so obviously I legally believe a person is someone who deserves human rights here in America. For instance, a preborn child, I believed, should be recognized as a person under law and therefore be protected by the 14th Amendment, which protects our right to life, of
Right.
course. So
All persons born, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not what it says. It says all persons in the United States. There is a separate section that talks about all persons born. But that's besides the point. Legally, when we're talking about persons, we're talking about people who deserve rights. So yes, you can believe that it's a biological human life in the womb and not recognize that human life as a person, but I think that's discrimination.
So what exactly, and I kind of need to get to as a foundational axiom as we can. What gives a human personhood? So as a pro-choicer, I would say the ability to, having the capacity to deploy the human conscious experience. That's what
Yes.
gives personhood. What gives personhood under you? Give me like a concise definition,
Being
please.
a living human being.
Okay, and how, when you say a living human being, are you saying like a human organism?
Yes.
Okay, and you think that biology strictly is on your side?
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you again, 100%. You are locking this answer in.
Yes.
It comes purely from a biological standpoint.
Now, obviously, science can't tell us that killing people is wrong. That's morality.
Of course.
Science tells us that it's a human organism in the womb, that it's a human life that meets all 7 characteristics of life.
Yeah.
But we as moral people, I know you probably disagree that it's wrong to kill all human beings because I think, support abortion, but that's where morality comes in.
Okay. Now, let's talk about, there's a few topics we could talk about. I'm debating on whether I want to save the last one for the 6 o'clock tonight.
Okay.
But,
you can save it. You can save it.
Sure. Let's talk about suffering. We understand that suffering, as we agreed, is the violation or the frustration of preferences. So if I punch this person, they're not going to like that.
Right.
What kinds of preferences does a zygote have?
Yeah, so they have the instinct like every other human does to live. We all have those biological instincts to live and to want to continue to survive.
So when you say an instinct, I think you're conflating that with something called a process. So like, for example, a tree will grow. It's not like the tree decides to grow. It's what's called a process. And for preferences, it seems to be the case that we need to have neurological structures to do that. So I'll ask again, without describing a process, how does a zygote have preferences?
Well, for instance, another example, I think a lot of pro-choicers like to say, oh, we should allow abortion up until 12 weeks because a baby can't feel pain up until that moment of time based on our research. So there's no suffering involved with aborting them. Now, in the same way, there are adults who they don't have the capacity to feel pain because they have diseases where they can't feel pain, which obviously is a really terrible thing to have because hold on, let me finish.
This isn't my point.
I know, but I'm answering anyway. And so we would say that it's still wrong to kill those people because they can't feel suffering. So I don't think that your capacity to feel pain and to suffer is what makes it wrong to kill someone. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But again, that's not my point. The problem is, and you just acknowledged it, that's not even my point, but you talked about it anyway.
Conversation, but I'm adding to the point that
that's not my point.
Suffering is not why it's wrong to kill them necessarily. That adds to it, of course. But the reason why it's wrong to kill someone is because they're a human life and they are valuable.
I disagree completely. And again, I will save it for the 6 o'clock because I promise you, I give you my word, this is going to bite you in the butt later.
Okay, all right.
It'll bite you in the butt later. But when we're talking about suffering, can I finish? Because thank you. So when we're talking about suffering and like feeling pain, as you already admitted, that wasn't even my point. I'm talking about the ability to deploy the conscious experience. So like, for example, we would both agree that you can't shoot somebody in their sleep because they're unconscious, right? But having the brain gives you those preferences. So for example, I'll say it for a third time, this person may not be thinking about getting punched in the face, but if I do it, I'm violating a preference even though they're not consciously thinking about it. Right. Do you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. The ability to be conscious in the future is what gives you value.
But when you say the future potential for something isn't the same as the thing itself. This is a critical error in your logic.
No. I think that potential for consciousness is what is up, because at the end of the day, I believe human beings are valuable, and therefore all human beings obviously have the potential for consciousness. I think it's dangerous to base your value on consciousness because there are some studies that show a newborn baby isn't even fully conscious. There are some studies that show that key aspects of consciousness, like self-awareness, don't develop until a year after birth. A baby, I don't know if you know this, after they're born, considers them the same as their mother. They think they're the same body, which that is not fully developed yet, and that happens later. So there's a lot about consciousness we don't know. For instance, have you heard of the case of Emma Murray?
Emma Murray, is it similar to like Jackson Buell?
So no, she was pregnant with a baby, and the baby was diagnosed with having no brain. So obviously, no areas of the brain needed for consciousness. They said the baby was going to be born dead. The baby somehow survived. To my knowledge, is still alive and was able to say the word "mom," which means the areas of the brain we thought were responsible for consciousness. Clearly, we don't know a lot about it. There's a lot we don't know about consciousness. I'm sure you would say we think consciousness probably begins 21 to 24 weeks in pregnancy. But I think that it's dangerous to base value on consciousness because then we would have to value pigs more than we value newborns because pigs are have more consciousness than newborns.
No, I reject this completely because unless you're arguing from a vegan standpoint, which I don't think you are, that doesn't make any sense.
That's what your logic was.
No.
You're saying consciousness is what makes you valuable.
And you're saying that you shouldn't kill humans. I'm saying you shouldn't kill humans that have the capacity to deploy the conscious experience. And you're saying you shouldn't kill humans. A vegan could say, well, you shouldn't kill animals. Like, you can map these. It's a one-to-one thing. It's an absurd argument. But I want to go back.
Because you're saying that what gives people value is consciousness.
The human conscious experience, You're missing the human part. That's a big part.
Pigs are more conscious than newborns.
It's not about being more conscious or not. It's about being a species. So, for example, you probably don't.
Being a human being. So you agree, and human life begins at conception.
That can have the ability to deploy the conscious experience.
So let me ask you another question.
Well, let's bring it back to the potential argument because you scurried with that one.
No, I agree. I think that it's the potential to have consciousness in the future as a human that gives you value.
Okay. Now, I'll do this, one more thing, and then like two fun little hypotheticals just for funsies.
All right.
Okay, now, when we talk about the future, the potential for this thing, right? This doesn't make sense because you would agree that the potential for something isn't the same as the thing itself. Do you agree with that?
Yes. That's why I think that it's not consciousness that gives you value. It's being a human being, and all human beings have the potential to have consciousness. Okay,
wait, but what? Okay, you're admitting that the potential for the thing itself isn't the same as the thing itself.
Yes, which is why I don't think that consciousness is what gives you value. It's being a human being that gives you value.
But Lydia, am I dead?
No, you're not dead.
Will I be dead in the future?
Yes.
Okay, so if a zygote is going to be alive or conscious in the future, okay, I can map this to saying, am I dead? And then, you throw me in a coffin. This is absurd logic.
No, I'm saying, that's why I'm saying that consciousness is not what gives you value. It's being a human being that gives you value.
Okay. If that's your axiomatic thing, that you okay, sure.
For instance,
just don't say future like hour or whatever.
Let's imagine brain dead people.
Go for it.
Pull the plug on brain dead people because, not just because they're unconscious,
but
because they have no way of being conscious in the future. If there was some medical advance, you agree with pulling the plug on brain dead?
Yeah.
So let's say there's some sort of, I know this is not possible, let's say there's some freak medical advancement where suddenly we know with 90% certainty that this person will be conscious in the future, would you still support pulling the plug on a brain dead person, knowing that they will be conscious in the future?
No, but we already have a prior preference that we would be validating.
No, but they're unconscious at the time. So
No, but
not,
remember, my thing
not,
is based on suffering and preferences.
But you're not causing any suffering by pulling the plug on them.
But you are fulfilling preferences. And remember, it's the fulfillment of preferences that's the distinction between suffering and pleasure.
You're not fulfilling any preference by pulling or not pulling the plug because they're unconscious.
A past preference, yes. So if I die and I say, please cremate me, and I talked to Charlie Kirk about the exact same thing. If I die and I say, please cremate me, and you agree, you have a moral obligation to do so. We can map this exactly one-to-one on this.
I think that's a little bit different, because I mean, people can debate on that, if that's true or not, if there's actually is a moral obligation because that person sadly is dead. I agree in general, because I just think
if someone's brain dead, you can map the exact same thing.
Because I think human beings are valuable. I don't think it's consciousness. In the same way, a brain dead person, we would think it's wrong to pull the plug on them if there is some medical advancement that they would be conscious in the future. In the same way, yes, a preborn baby might not be fully conscious yet, but we know with almost certainty that they will be, and therefore it is wrong to kill them because we value human life, not consciousness.
Okay. So on the person, last question, then I'm moving on to like the end thing on suffering. So would you say that every human, I'll say like entity or organism is a person?
Every human organism is a person, yes.
Okay, awesome. So when it comes to the concept of suffering, which is the violation of preferences, do you acknowledge the scientific fact, the empirical data, that the pro-life movement is responsible for more mother fatalities? Do you acknowledge that?
What do you mean? Explain.
When mothers have restrictions to abortion, the mother fatality rate increases. Do you acknowledge this basic empirical fact?
No. So actually in Texas, there was, after the pro-life law passed, the maternal mortality rate went down.
What do you think the academic consensus is?
What'd you say?
What do you think the academic consensus is?
There's also a lack of reporting laws in the United States, so any data we're using is anything that they've voluntarily given up, so we don't have accurate data in the United States.
What do you think? I'll ask again, what do you think the academic consensus is? You can like poke little holes, but what's the consensus?
It depends on the state. In some states, the maternal mortality went down after the pro-life law. Some states it went up. I don't think it has anything to do with the pro-life laws, though, because our pro-life laws are abundantly clear that medical treatment is allowed. And so in any places where doctors are declining medical treatment, it's because of medical malpractice, and it has nothing to do with the pro-life law, because the pro-abortion movement is a side lying to women and saying, you can't get miscarriage treatment under the pro-life law. That is a fundamental law.
Okay. The answer is, the academic consensus is mother fatalities do increase. And the fact that you couldn't answer like a yes or a no and you were kind of obfuscating goes to show that.
Because there's no accurate data on it.
I completely reject this entirely.
There's no national abortion reporting law.
You say that there is
there is no national abortion reporting law.
I'm not going to speak on that behalf or not, in the sense I don't know that, but I can look at the academic consensus, which you seem to be rejecting.
The academic consensus is based on incomplete data. There is no national abortion reporting law.
Okay, and then what? And like, if I read what's the academic consensus,
I can pull you up a state right now that shows the maternal mortality.
You can cherry pick data.
In Texas.
You can cherry pick data all day long, but if we look at what's the
showing reality?
Cherry picking easily.
Okay.
And you know what? Cherry picking can show aspects of reality for sure.
There are states where you could show me that after the pro-life law was passed, maternal mortality went up there. I could show you the reverse. I don't think it's based on the pro-life law. I do think, yes, I agree with you, that in states that are red, we don't emphasize healthcare enough. And that's something you and I can agree. We need to improve healthcare for pregnant women. Absolutely. I don't think that has to do anything with the pro-life laws, though.
The second thing, do you acknowledge that the pro-life stance also increases more infant fatalities? So humans that are sentient, do you acknowledge that?
No.
It's absolutely true. What do you think the academic consensus is?
There is not enough accurate data to know anything about that.
So, like, when biology points to, like, one thing, and you're like, and it supports you, you're like, yay, let's go. But when it disagrees with you, you're like, oh, no, I don't trust it.
That's not biology. That's just...
It's empirical data.
Study. Yeah, that's not biology, though, because biology says that it's a human life in the womb. There is no other opposing side, because the 7 characteristics of life, which I'm sure you're familiar with, yes. Yeah. Yes, they're all met at conception. There's no, they're maybe met. It's either they're met or they're not. So when I'm talking about biology, I'm talking about, is it a human life or not? We can talk politics about, this study says that this caused more deaths or not politically. That's completely different than the biological reality of the child in the womb.
If you want to poke holes and, like, make arguments about, like, the numbers are weird, and I don't even know if you could say any studies that show that, other than you just looking at them and then, poking little holes at it. But still, the academic consensus is siding on me. And if you disagree with me, I'm happy to bet $1,000. Okay. And then lastly, do you acknowledge that it increases intimate partner violence, the pro-life stance?
No, there is a huge issue where domestic violence does increase when women are pregnant. Yes, it's a huge issue. It's so sad. But blaming on the pro-life laws just because more women are pregnant doesn't mean that the pro-life laws are what's leading. Of course, there's going to be more domestic violence if there's more women that are pregnant. That there can be violence committed on. It's very
bad.
sad.
That's suffering. Yeah, that's bad.
Do you think that the solution is we should just abort all children to end domestic violence against pregnant women?
I think that we should give women the choice to terminate a pregnancy before the point of consciousness.
To end a human life.
Something that avoids suffering, which your position acknowledges. Your position creates more suffering, Lydia.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. You acknowledge the
children in the womb. Do you think?
Wait, you just acknowledge that they're not suffering. They have no preferences.
Is the biological human life in the womb or not? Yes or no?
Yeah, there's a human entity, but it has no preferences. There's no suffering, Lydia.
So you're discriminating against some human beings because they're
not
as developed as you.
We're on the NPC talking tree. Your position creates more suffering. That's my problem.
No. Abortion
That's
has
my
killed
problem.
73 million children worldwide.
And how many of them were sentient? How many?
There's no national abortion report.
Okay, the answer is the overwhelming amount. The answer is the overwhelming amount. Well, you acknowledge that.
We know for a fact that last year in the United States there were at least 10,000 late-term abortions last year.
Oh, sure.
Hold on.
Go
there
for
were
it.
at least 10,000 late-term abortions last year in the United States. Again, we don't have a national abortion reporting law, so it could be way more. We don't know. Do you think that those 10,000 deaths were wrong?
It depends on the circumstance for it. So, for example, like it could be for the health of the mother, or maybe the infant was going to die.
There's no medical reason to intentionally end a child's life in the third trimester.
The medical consensus seems to disagree with you.
Do you know what the procedure is to save a woman's life in a medical emergency?
Nope.
It's an induction or a C-section where they're trying to save both lives. It's actually more dangerous to perform an induced late-term abortion because the procedure, they go into the uterus and they inject the baby's heart with digoxin.
Yeah, and it starts it stops the heartbeat.
Yeah. They kill the baby and then they through a multi-day procedure then remove the baby. It takes longer. It's more dangerous because digoxin is also dangerous to the mom. It's faster to just get the baby out. So there's no medical reason to perform an induced late-term abortion. So those 10,000 late-term abortions were elective. Do you think they were wrong? Yes or no?
Maybe I have to think about that one more. But the thing that I'm saying, and I will tell you, if you want to say hey, these are bad, it shouldn't happen. I'll stand there and say, yeah, probably, I'll agree with that, probably speaking. But when it comes to the overall elective, you are causing more suffering, and the fact that you are trying to deny that is denying basic empirical evidence, Lydia.
I'm not causing more suffering. Now, I will be the first to admit, pregnancy isn't easy. Absolutely, yeah, it's difficult. Okay. That's why we want to support those women in pregnancy. The solution is never to end an innocent human being's life.
Okay.
Value doesn't come from how much suffering you go through. We all suffer. I don't think it's wrong to kill children in the womb just because they're suffering, but because you're ending a human life and that human life is valuable regardless of how much suffering you're going through in the process of ending that life.
All right, last question. I've been here for a while, and thank you for your time. I do appreciate it.
Okay. I have one question for you after this.
Yeah, no, okay. For sure. If we were in World War II, and your stance is that zygotes are persons, and therefore they have the same moral, value of people like you and I. Mm-hmm. And if we have, 60, 70 million abortions happening every year, if someone saw Goebbels rounding up a bunch of Jews and throwing them into trains, saying to Auschwitz, and someone killed Goebbels, that person, I would say, is a hero for saving those people's lives. Do you think that people who bomb Planned Parenthoods are virtuous? I'm not saying you can tell people they should do it, but do you think those people are virtuous?
For the record, I want to know: are there people inside of the Planned Parenthood? Are you're saying
yes.
People?
Yeah, the abortion doctors.
I think that's wrong. Also, because I think it doesn't actually help tackle the pro-abortion movement as a whole. Because even if you did, I don't think that it justifies harming innocent people.
Wait, but they're killing persons by your logic. How are they innocent?
Try to stop them, but I don't think that we should be encouraging violence on the way. We are pro-life because we value all people.
But if I saw Nazis rounding up Jews, I'm gonna tell you this right now, I'd be the first one to punch them in the face and do violence against them to save those Jews. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, in general, I think it depends if that's actually going to be effective. If there's other people around that are just going to bring those people to the concentration camp anyway, and they're going to continue to be harmed anyway, I think that's where you have to be more strategic, and that's what the pro-life movement has done. We've been strategic because at the end of the day, yes, I think what's happened is terrible. Sure. In the 80s, when that was a thing where there was bombing abortion facilities, that's sad. That didn't actually.
Wait, how is that sad?
Right?
How is that sad?
You're harming people. And
people who, by your logic, are committing genocide. That's by your logic.
Yes,
you should be probably saying they're virtuous.
That genocide would still continue, whether or not, because we live, at the end of the day, in a pro-abortion culture.
And if I killed Goebbels,
is actually going to cause more harm than good. You're not actually changing the culture because people are going to continue killing anyway. And so if it was a one-time instance, that's completely different. But we live in, sadly, a very pro-abortion culture where we have to tackle the culture. Tackling just individual abortion facilities isn't going to solve the problem because we have to attack the culture as a whole.
Look,
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But they lived in a very round up Jews and gas them culture.
Yes,
that doesn't excuse it. And I'll stop talking on it. But like, this is like, if you truly value them as persons, then you would say that, yeah, it is virtuous for them to be doing these actions.
Because in the same case, if I was you and I saw some Nazi harming Jews, I may or may not attack that person based off of, if I attack that person, there might be another Nazi that's going to harm those people. It might be better for me to instead be strategic.
It's still virtuous though, no?
And to end the culture that's harming Jews instead of actually just doing that. It might be more strategic for me that way. Now, I have one last question.
Sure, yeah, go for it.
You said you oppose late-term abortion, correct?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So you would not vote for anyone that supports the killing of babies in the third trimester, correct?
In the third trimester, it depends on like what other political issues are going on.
So you would vote for someone that supports the killing of innocent persons?
If all else equal, then no. But there's a lot of things that go into a vote, Lydia.
No, well, I think it's extremely dangerous to vote for someone that supports stripping away human rights from a group of people.
Oh, yeah, and I think it's also dangerous to vote for somebody that's going to turn Gaza into AI Trump world. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm sorry, but like, this is insane.
There is one group of, you and I can agree, there's only one group of people that doesn't have equal human right to life in America, and that is, I would say, all human beings in the room. You would say third trimester babies are the only group of people that doesn't have the right to life in America, correct?
When we say like that, I don't know. I would have to think about that.
You have a hard time answering that because you have to acknowledge that a group of people has had their rights stripped away. You think that it's once they're conscious, so sure, if you want to go by 21 to 24 weeks, which I disagree with, then yeah, any baby that was killed, 10,000 babies had their rights stripped away and were killed last year. You should be speaking up against that, should you not? You should be speaking up against late-term abortion.
Probably.
Why aren't you?
Who says I haven't? Wait, I'm sorry. Did I not just say that I support a cutoff?
Did I not just support Harris?
That? Yes, of course.
She supported stripping away rights from those children. She supported the slaughter of 10,000 babies last year. And you voted for someone who stripped away rights from innocent human beings.
And you voted for somebody who wants Gaza to get genocided. What do you want me to say?
No, I did not. And
yes, you did.
No.
Did you not vote for Trump?
No, I did.
So you did. What are you talking about?
But he had, and no time has he ever said he supports committing genocide against Gaza.
Trump Gaza.
Whereas Kamala Harris has unapologetically supported abortion for any reason.
Okay, I'm sorry. I need to be nicer. I apologize. But are you not aware of the Trump AI Gaza?
I am aware of the conflict going on.
No. However, the video of Trump AI Gaza. Trump AI, yes. He posted it. Lydia, this is why it's so important to be versed in more than just abortion. That's why I said a lot goes into a vote.
AI videos online with my free time.
Of the president, the guy who you voted for.
He posts a lot of things. For the record,
he does, and it's insane.
There are things that he does that are not smart, but Kamala Harris supported stripping away rights from Americans, whereas Trump has not supported stripping away rights from any Americans.
Yeah, but you know what? Trump supports destroying our allies across the entire world. Trump supports genociding Gaza. Trump supports terrorizing the entire country, destroying democracy.
There are children in your communities being slaughtered. Why are you not caring about those children?
I care about them and other things.
I care about
There's
all
so many things you're looking at.
When there are children that you can help save here in your community, there are children being killed probably down the street right now by abortion. Why are you not doing anything? You could, yes.
How's about the 600,000 people, mostly kids, that died because they defunded USAID?
There were 73 million killed last year worldwide by abortion. That's the leading cause of death in America.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm talking about sentience. Thank you very much. And how many sentient kids died because of USAID being gutted?
Some babies, I forget.
How many kids died because they cut USAID, Lydia? How many?
For the record, I think the war that's going on is very sad. And
I said USAID. They're dying because of lack of care.
Yeah, and I think that's sad. I wish that all children had access to
care. Trump did this.
I think
you voted for that.
No. I think that Trump has a different idea of how we care for people. And yes, I disagree with him sometimes.
By killing 400,000 children?
He is not trying to legalize the killing of any children, whereas you voted for someone who wants to legalize the killing of innocent Americans.
All right, I'll go ahead and leave it at that. We probably won't get any further. Lydia, I will say thank you for your time. I genuinely hate your position, not you as a person, truly, but I look forward to speaking to you later tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.